Good afternoon. Welcome to the 10th Ward, everyone. It is a great feeling to be sitting here and standing here today on the groundbreaking for the Commercial Avenue streetscape. When I grew up, Commercial Avenue was the beating heart of South Chicago and the second largest commercial district in the city of Chicago. How many of you guys knew that? All right. My first job when I was in high school was working at Goldblatt's at the deli counter. Our ward was home to 9 steel mills. Steelworkers District 31 provided over 124,000 steelworker jobs here. People from all over the world came to the 10th Ward to work and raise their families. It didn't matter what color you were or what language you spoke, you worked shoulder to shoulder to get the job done. The 10th Ward literally and figuratively has built the city of Chicago, Commissioner Carney. The steel that built the John Hancock, the Willis Tower, AM Building, and so many others came right out of the mills right here in the 10th Ward. After I took office in 2015, UIC Great Institutes began working on a revitalization plan with the Commercial Avenue SSA. We spent countless hours in meetings, getting feedback from residents, local businesses, and community groups. One of the most important areas for improvement highlighted by residents and business owners was the need for a more pedestrian and cyclist-friendly commercial avenue with improved lighting and a more aesthetically pleasing streetscape. Our office has been working tirelessly with the SSA and CDOT and Department of Planning to come up with a new vision for Commercial Avenue, consistent with what our community has asked for. From brokering meetings to going out with measuring tapes, thank you, John Haroff, and maps to help people visualize what commercial could actually look like. Today, I am honored to be here, and I want to thank the leadership of CDOT, Commissioner Cox, Department of Planning, the SSA, and most of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Lori Lightfoot for helping this project come to fruition. Because without her commitment, we wouldn't be standing here today. Thank you for investing in the mighty 10th Ward, Mayor Lightfoot.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angela Herlock. I am the CEO for Creation Associates, which is housed here at the Salute Center. Thank you guys for being here. Definitely want to thank our amazing Alderwoman of the 10th Ward. Commitment, commitment, commitment. We are very pleased and very fortunate to have her. It is my pleasure to also talk about another woman who's had amazing commitment to things happening in our ward and to introduce our amazing mayor, Mayor Lori E. Lightfoot, who has been, in my 18 years here, and I'm still considered a newbie, right? I've only been here 18 years. I can honestly say I've not had the pleasure of working with a mayor that so intimately has worked with the 10th Ward. We have only been open a year. She's been here 3 times. That's amazing to me, and that's commitment. And that speaks to her commitment not only to South Chicago, but to its residents and all things that happen here. And so it's definitely my pleasure to welcome our awesome mayor, Mayor Lori E. Lightfoot, to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here in the 10th Ward, and particularly for such an important occasion, which is making concrete investments in communities. I'm thrilled to be here on the South Side today, and even more excited to help break ground on a project that will make the streets in this community safer, but also bolster economic development. You know, as you heard the alderman say, this is a labor of love that has been the heart and soul of so many people, and our job as a city government is to help make sure the community's visions for what they want to see happen becomes a reality. So you saw the alderman, you heard from Angela Herlock. I also want to note that First Deputy Commissioner of CDOT, Tom Carney, is here, and Invest Southwest Corridor Managers, Tom Schell and Angela Herlock, who we just heard from. Exactly a week ago, we celebrated a huge milestone in the life of Invest Southwest. 3 transformational years of my administration's signature neighborhood economic development plan. Through this initiative, which represents a partnership between nearly all of our city departments and agencies and the public and private sector, we've accomplished a lot that we, the collective we, across these 10 communities, 12 corridors, have a lot to be proud of. We have now committed $2.2 billion. And let me just remind you that when we started this program 3 years ago, before anybody knew anything about a pandemic, we had the hope that we would commit $750 million city dollars and then attract another a couple hundred thousand dollars from the private sector. Well, this program, even through a pandemic, has exceeded our wildest expectations, and now we are at $2.2 billion in commitments. And let me talk about what that actually means in concrete, tangible ways. It means that for many of these neighborhoods, this was the first time in decades that public, private, and philanthropic dollars were working in their favor. Uplifting these neighborhoods into communities that call them home not only benefits our south and west sides and communities like this one, but Chicago as a whole. As we will have, and you will have, more access to economic opportunities and services that communities need to be able to thrive and prosper. And creating this kind of economic ripple effect, as well as making sure that we're serving all of our 77 neighborhoods, is precisely why we embarked on this Invest Southwest journey in the first place. The $2.2 billion that we've secured have spurred and continue to spur tangible, positive, and long-lasting change, encompassing many kinds of multi-million-dollar investments aimed at revitalizing communities both socially and economically. And today, I'm proud to build on this growing list of investments by breaking ground on the Commercial Avenue Corridor Improvement Project that's going to be led by CDOT. This streetscape is the second of 12 planned for priority Invest Southwest commercial corridors, and comes just as a week after we broke ground on the first new investment in Austin, and just a few weeks before our third project kicks off in the back of the yards. In total, the 12 streetscape projects are supported by $280 million in city funding and will transform 20 miles of arterial streets, more than twice the mileage of streetscapes completed in the Invest Southwest neighborhoods since the 1990s. And I want you to pause on that. We are doing now more than has been done since the 1990s to improve the streetscapes in the 10 communities of Invest Southwest. You should clap for that. This project specifically represents a $43 million investment, which is funded locally through our Chicago Works capital plan. And let me talk to you for a second about what that is. Long before the bipartisan infrastructure plan actually came to fruition a year ago, this city, through the mayor's office and the city council, improved a long-term capital plan for the city of Chicago. The first time that we would have a multi-year billion-dollar-plus capital plan. So we didn't wait for the federal government to come to our rescue. We took matters in our own hand because we knew that our streets, that our alleys, that our sidewalks, that our bridges, and important parts of our infrastructure needed necessary maintenance and repairs. And we've been executing on that with fidelity, again, led by the great team at CDOT. We're now entering into year 3 of our capital plan. But this plan will transform South Chicago's historic Commercial Avenue by making several pedestrian-oriented aesthetic and traffic safety improvements, including street resurfacing, curb extensions, raised bike lanes, and more, because this is what this community said. This is what we want, and this is what we need. Furthermore, through light pole identifiers and sidewalk plaques, this project will highlight the rich history and culture of South Chicago, helping more residents and visitors alike feel that much more connected to this incredible community. The Commercial Avenue Corridor Improvement Project also complements other investments we're making in South Chicago through the Invest Southwest initiative. For example, next year, we expect to break ground on this community's flagship development project, Galleria 89. This is a $36.4 million project which will open on Commercial Avenue and transform approximately 0.6 acres of underutilized properties into a 4-story building with 48 affordable apartment units and rehab an existing 3-story building with 10 affordable apartment units. Additionally, through complementary initiatives like the Chicago Republic Plan Community Development Program, this year we've awarded over $3 million in grants and projects based in South Chicago, further helping revitalize the neighborhood socially and economically. And we look forward to bringing even more investments to South Chicago. In the meantime, I just want to say this. For too long, this community has been left out and ignored by what happens in the rest of the city, and pointedly from the mayor's office. No longer. We will continue to demonstrate our commitment to making sure that you have a partner in City Hall, that you have a partner in making sure that we help you fulfill the aspiration that you have to investing and restoring the vibrancy of South Chicago. And I feel like we're just getting started. There's a lot more that we can and we will do here in partnership with the community. So I want to thank you for all the time that many of you committed to coming and visioning and drawing on whiteboards. That time was well spent because it's manifesting itself now in investments that we're making today as well as investments that we'll be making in the future. And at this point, I'd like to welcome up Tom Carney to say a few words about the work that CDOT is going to be doing as part of the Streetscape project. Tom?
Thank you very much, Mayor Lightfoot. I am Tom Carney, First Deputy Commissioner at the Chicago Department of Transportation. I'm here on behalf of our Commissioner Gia Biaggi and some of our fellow staff members. It's great to be in South Chicago today to break ground on a major streetscape improvement project along Commercial Avenue. As the mayor mentioned, this is the second major streetscape project we've broken ground on in as many weeks, and we are very excited and pleased to announce that we have many more on the way. One of the things that make Invest Southwest special is that it recognizes that economic development isn't complete without investments in our infrastructure. A vibrant and accessible street is an important part of fostering economic growth. That's what CDOT's Streetscapes program is all about. Because of Invest Southwest and Mayor Lightfoot's Chicago Works capital plan, we've been able to make significant investments in communities that for so long were not receiving the support they needed. In total, we're implementing $280 million in capital improvements along 20 miles of arterial streets in South and West Side neighborhoods. And I just want to emphasize that $280 million over 20 miles. I've been with the city for 23 years. There's never been investments like that in those 23 years. So this is historic, what we're achieving and what we're embarking on through this administration. The project we're breaking ground on today will not only upgrade aging infrastructure, it will create a more inviting and walkable Commercial Avenue. Some of these improvements include full-width street resurfacing, curb extensions that create shorter crossing distance for pedestrians, new sidewalk, curb and gutter, new ADA ramps and crosswalks, raised bike lanes, tree plantings, and landscaping, and as the mayor referenced, light pole identifiers and sidewalk plaques that highlight the rich history and culture of the South Chicago community. These investments will benefit everyone moving along Commercial Avenue, whether you are walking, taking CTA, bus or train, biking or driving. This project is the result of years of work, community outreach, collaboration, and design. I want to acknowledge the following people for their valuable work throughout this whole process. CDOT Project Director Lubka Benek, who's been one of the most busy people in our department and is going to continue to be that for the years to come. Project Manager Ellen Schmidt, Assistant Project Manager Cody Manchin, the prime consultant on the project, Benish, our urban design consultant, Muller and Muller, our civil engineer support consultant, Ardmore Roderick, our public outreach support consultant, Moriel Strategic Communications, and of course, our construction contractor for this project, Sumit Construction. Let's give them a round of applause. We are greatly appreciative for their hard work. And finally, I want to thank a thank you to the project task force members, including Angela Herlock. Thank you for having us here today and your continued contributions. And many thanks to Alderman Sue Garza, who's been a champion of this project since the beginning, and she's been a great friend of CDOT for many years. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our next speaker, Invest Southwest Coordinator Manager, Tom Schell.
Good afternoon and welcome to South Chicago. On behalf of the Invest Southwest South Chicago Corridor Managers, South Chicago Parents and Friends, and Clarishan Associates, I'd like to welcome everyone to this historic groundbreaking ceremony. I'd like to take this time to thank our Mayor, Lori Lightfoot, and her staff, our very hardworking and dedicated Alderwoman, Susan Sidlowski Garza, and the team at CDOT for bringing this streetscape project to our Commercial Avenue business corridor. I would also like to recognize the many, many, many community leaders who took part in Zoom meetings and in-person meetings to give their feedback on this project. The Invest Southwest groundbreaking ceremony for the South Chicago CDOT streetscape will truly revitalize the Commercial Avenue business corridor. The South Chicago community has been looking forward to this development of this magnitude for over 20 years. We are so happy to see it coming in our lifetime. We look forward to the day when our residents in South Chicago can gather and stroll down Commercial Avenue and 92nd Street, let's not forget 92nd Street, and marvel and enjoy the new streets, sidewalks, curbs, lights, benches, garbage cans, planters, and signage that will reflect on the history of the South Chicago community. Again, thank you to everyone who has been involved in this project.
Okay, so let's now get this show on the road, right? So we're going to ask that you just stay seated for a few more minutes until we have the mayor go outside, and then we're all going to go outside for the groundbreaking. So if you just be patient with us for a few more minutes. Correction, the mayor will go out this way, and the other one else will go out that way. And you can proceed to do that now.